Deuce, FTP Podcast number 22 coming your way. Plenty of good stuff. Obviously, this thing is brought to you by no one. This is just us right now. We'll talk plenty of NFL storylines, all kinds of stuff. Some 0-2 teams in trouble, possibly. All that coming up, and I'm sure I'll get on my soapbox about something in the next, 20 minutes. Whatever. We'll see what happens. Stick around.
This is the FTP Podcast.
All right, NFL Week 2 is in the books. We have a number of 0-2 teams, and a couple of them are huge names that no one expected to be 0-2. The Ravens, the Saints, the Bears, the Giants, the Eagles, the Lions, the Texans, and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, just going through that list, I can name off a couple of teams that definitely weren't expected to be 0-2. The Ravens, the Seahawks, the Lions were expected to be pretty good. I made the radical call that the Eagles were going to be terrible this year months ago, and I had people calling me crazy because I said this could be Chip Kelly's last year in Philadelphia because they're going to fail so horribly. So the 0-2 start for them does not exactly surprise me. A couple of those other teams just really look kind of bad. The Giants actually didn't look too bad in their 2 games. They just had some bad luck at times and obviously need to learn how to finish. But the Texans, they're in trouble. Kind of need a quarterback to figure that whole show out for them. The Lions got a lot of talent, but they're still trying to figure some things out on that roster as well, just trying to get some things worked out. The Bears, I'm not sure, the Jay Cutler thing. Obviously, as long as he's at the helm, that's a questionable show going on. But then he got hurt today. Jimmy Clausen had to go in. I'm not exactly, buying a house with Jimmy Clausen. Personally, I'm confused by that whole situation. If I had to bet on one quarterback that was on that roster, it would have been David Fales, but they cut him. So that being said, I don't know what's going on in Chicago, but there's a lot more trouble going on the defensive side of the ball than just the quarterback situation. New Orleans Saints, this may be the end of an era. The way that they have lost games hasn't been the defense's fault entirely. A lot of the blame could be put on the offensive side of the ball. And, Drew Brees and Sean Payton, that combination, this may be the coming to an end of their time in New Orleans. If I can't see one leaving, it would have to be the pair leaving. And Drew Brees is going to be owed a large sum of money coming next season. And unless he picks up his level of play, I'm sure they're going to try and find a way to get out of that contract. I'm just saying. All right, the hits just keep coming for the Cowboys. I don't know how they're going to survive all this. Romo fractured his left clavicle. They already had lost Des Bryant. Can Brandon Weeden keep them contenders long enough for Romo to make his way back? Ew, that's a tough task for Brandon Weeden. We saw a bit of him in Cleveland, and obviously that's Cleveland. He's looked better in his spot duty with the Cowboys than he ever did look in Cleveland, so that's encouraging. I did like Brandon Weeden when he was coming out of college. I think he has a lot of potential, but I think obviously, when you get sent to a black hole on offense, which is what Cleveland has been for years at this point, it's really tough. And it's really tough to rehab that once you get a lot of those tendencies and fear and different things like that built into your game. Now, he has had some time to spend in Dallas with Jason Garrett and Tony Romo, and he'll obviously have Romo supporting him. And Romo missed some time with injury last year as well. So I think Wheaton should be able to keep them somewhat relevant long enough. Now, as long as they don't put too much pressure on him. Obviously, this is heightened with the fact that they don't exactly have a dominant running back in that backfield quite yet. So that's going to put a little bit more weight on him. And he doesn't have Des Bryant, which means he doesn't have what is an all-world receiver to throw to right now. So obviously his job is a little bit more difficult. I don't know that he's going to catapult the Cowboys to contender status, but I think he should be able to keep them relevant enough to, make a wild card run at best. So, not too bad. Johnny Football got his first career win today. Is this a sign of things to come? I was encouraged by his play. One of the things that obviously I love about Johnny Football, but you also have to hate about him, is that he's a gambler. He loves it. He loves the game, and he loves to take chances and take shots. And one of the things that, has hurt him in his NFL career is just that exact mentality. It's one of the things that led Brett Favre to be, Brett Favre, and also have the most interceptions in a career. Those gambling plays are what can make you a legend, the legendary Johnny Football. But those same plays are what will get you benched if they stop rolling the dice in your way. So obviously today I was encouraged with his game. I got to sit down and I watched it, and he understood that, sometimes it's okay to take chances, but other times it's okay to just throw the ball away and live to fight another day rather than giving the defense that interception. He understood that on 3rd and long, maybe I shouldn't force this pass and just allow the punt, and my defense has been playing well. Let's let them win the game. So I'm encouraged by that. I think he's learned strides, and I think he's saying all the right things. He appears to be doing all the right things. I think having a guy like Josh McCown in that locker room with him is definitely helpful, because I've said this 200 times at this point. I thought Johnny needed to go into a situation with a veteran where he could sit, watch, and learn. Now, obviously, he never got the watch and learn from a veteran part, but he's getting some of the mentorship from Josh right now, which is good. And I think all of these things are going to help him moving forward. I was 100% encouraged with this play. And I think it could be a sign of much more things to come. I think he's gotten on a good page with one of his receivers, Travis Benjamin, and that's huge for them, because outside of him, they don't have a whole lot of talent in that receiver core. I love Andrew Hawkins, but for whatever reason, he's just not been very effective, and he'll never be necessarily a game-breaking receiver, but I think he could be very solid. Okay, let's keep moving. The Bucs upset the Saints and gives New Orleans their 6th straight home loss. I talked a little bit about the Saints a minute ago. This could be the end of an era. Teams just aren't afraid of their offense anymore. Right now, their defense kept them in the game today against Tampa Bay, and that's sad. There's definitely a regime shift on the roster going on. There's a bunch of guys playing on that New Orleans Saints defense, 2 starting linebackers, a starting corner, and a starting nickelback for them. Plus, they had Kenny Phillips starting. Guys that, besides Kenny Phillips, all the rest of those guys that I'm talking about, this was their 2nd NFL game, and these are guys playing major roles on that defense. Then Kenny Phillips hasn't played a pro regular season game since 2012. So you have a large, inexperienced, defense just trying to get used to playing football at an NFL level right now. And then on the offense, short of, you look at receiver, Brandon Cooks, 2nd season. Willie Snead, first regular season really. Brandon Coleman, 1st regular season. You have very inexperienced receivers. They lose Jimmy Graham, and they insert old man Ben Watson. He's been in the league forever. And, you got Josh Hill behind him, another guy inexperienced. There's a lot of inexperience on this team. There's a huge regime shift in this roster. And I think, obviously these are some things that they'll probably hit stride at some point mid-season, but there are a lot of things that are question marks. Number one, can you protect Drew Brees? And if you can't, maybe it's time to let the man go. And obviously he doesn't want to hear that, but there's a pattern for success, and with his contract, he has to succeed. Plain and simple. All right, Rex Ryan loses to Belichick again. He's 4-10 against the Pats. Clearly I thought the Bills had a shot in this one. I thought that defense was just going to dominate and at least keep them relevant in this ball game. But I called this one wrong. Every once in a while I do something like that. Something crazy. Whatever. The Bills, they fought back. That was encouraging for me. That was encouraging for me, the way they fought back. I was encouraged by Tyrod Taylor's play. He wasn't rattled by the number of turnovers. He kept his team in this ball game. They were behind big. They came back, made it at least competitive looking at the final score. I'm not that upset by this loss. I think, obviously, Belichick understands how to dissect a Rex Ryan defense. Rex Ryan has a lot of success against a lot of guys. The Patriots just aren't one of those teams that Rex understands how to beat quite yet. But he gets another shot at them in the regular season, and who knows? If the Bills make the playoffs, which I'm expecting they have a nice opportunity with the way Tyrod's been playing, maybe, just maybe, he gets a 3rd crack at him, and maybe that's the time that he wins. And really, the one in the playoffs is the only one that matters, right? whatever. All right, we'll take a quick break, then we'll come back and we'll talk some college football. Whoop, whoop.
Throughout your career, you only get a certain amount of opportunities, and you got to take advantage of those. We want a winner here in Houston, and ultimately we're playing for the fans.
They're starting to believe there's something magic going on here in Houston.
It's just an unlikely year that just continues. They've got as good a chance as anyone.
As confident as you can be at this time of year, they feel pretty good about where they're at.
Yeah, I love this place. Major League Baseball playoffs is the cream of the crop.
This is the FTP Podcast.
All right, college football week 3 wrapped up. Let's talk some of the big storylines. Bama goes down. Down goes Bama. Ole Miss knocked them off at home. Are the Tide in trouble? I have a quick answer and a short answer. That's the same thing. The answer is, yeah, kind of. They haven't been the same dominant Tide that we've grown so accustomed to. Quarterback situation with Coker, not a great one. The outside of Henry at running back, I am short on words for any guy that I would say is just wholeheartedly dominant on that team. And obviously you can get behind Henry, and I think he can run you right into the championship and win a lot of games for you. But that defense isn't as dominant as it used to be. And I think that in order for them to be able to be a true contender, they need to accept themselves, which is going to be hard for Nick Saban. He needs to accept that this is a different kind of team than the teams that I've had for the past, forever. He needs to understand that in order to win this game, he's going to have to give Henry the ball, and we're going to have to ride him. And we're going to ride him right into the playoffs. Because Henry can get you there. That boy, he's a freight train who can't be stopped. Plain and simple, I don't know that there's a team on the collegiate level that can slow him down consistently. I'm giving him the ball on first down. I'm giving him the ball on second down. And if we make it to third down, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him the ball again. I'm going to make them put 9 and 10 men in the box to try and slow him down. And then I'm going to throw the ball. Because at that point, if I have a quarterback that can't throw the ball on a 9-man or 10-man box, you know what? He just don't even belong on my roster to start with. So that's one of the things that I'd like to see them make an adjustment. You got to give Henry the ball more. The boy is ridiculous. Him and Leonard Fournette are in the run. Are, in my personal opinion, the two leaders for the Heisman right now. They are the most valuable men to their team. And right now, I'm not sure that there's a team in college football that can really stop either one of them. Because they're just men possessed. All right, moving on. Cardell benched in favor of J.T. Barrett. Does this really mean anything? It could. Clearly, they're both going to play a role. I think, obviously, Cardell had some turnovers, but the Ohio State team has struggled in a couple of games. I'm not really saying that Cardell is going to get, pulled. Obviously, preseason, he was my Heisman winner because I said he was going to win the quarterback battle, and I said he was going to come in and play well. And he did play well in the opener, but then they've had 2 struggling weeks where they've obviously put JT in. But like I said, I don't think it was just Cardell. It was that offense, that team as a whole really struggled. So I don't think that it means too much. Does it mean that going forward, JT may get the first crack at things? Possibly. But at the end of the day, I still believe that Cardell is the better quarterback of the two. So I think JT, this is what I'll say. I think JT has better leadership qualities at the position. I think he has better intangibles. The physical side of the game, Cardell is head and shoulders above. And I think when a play breaks down, Cardell is going to be your better option. So depending on the type of game, that's where the two can excel differently. JT is going to get you what you're supposed to get. Cardell, he's going to give you your best option in a game you're supposed to lose to find a way to win it. Plain and simple. And that's just how I see the two, as 2 different kind of players. Let's keep rolling. Longhorns. We're going to Texas, baby. Their kicker blows the game time PAT to send the game into overtime. That's a heartbreaker, And you got to feel for the guy because they had guys on the sideline dancing ready for overtime, and then they just kind of looked up, and the point after it missed. And there's nothing you can really say to him. Like, he knows he should have made it. Everyone knows he should have made it, and everyone's blaming him. You got to feel for the guy. And I do feel for the guy. All right, moving on. Auburn out of the top 25. Let's be serious. They don't belong there. The way they've played, they have been demolished. They hardly beat Jacksonville State. This Auburn team is in shambles right now. I don't know what's going on. Clearly, it was the Will Muschamp curse or something, but there's a problem. There's a problem going on with Auburn right now. That is not the program that everyone was expecting. People picking them to win the SEC, win the national championship, all kind of stuff. Clearly, everyone that picked them is out of their mind because they have no opportunity to do any of that. If they can't find a defense, they got to find a way to do something on offense. And right now, they got to find a quarterback because the kid just ain't getting the job done. Plain and simple, point blank, period. All right, since I'm out of time, let's go to our moment in sports history. In 1998, Cal Ripken consecutive game play streak came to an end at 2,632, a streak that still stands to this day. All right, thanks again. You know the drill. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Check us out and follow us on Instagram. Do all the little things. Pretty much type in from the press box. The Twitter is FTP_tweets. Check us out on SoundCloud from the Press Box on there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/FromThePressBox. Thanks for listening again. We'd love to talk to you. Tweet at us, Instagram us, leave some comments. We'll get back with you. Need fantasy advice? Get at FTP_tweets. We'll help you out. Thanks again. Deuces.